Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Solomon here. So, it has been a while. I have not done a video in probably 3 or 4 months. Um, Looking to get back into it a little bit here, though, and I hope you all enjoy the content. And thank you all, as always, for the follows and all the support. So I came across Deloitte, their 2020 Global Blockchain Survey, which I think just got released probably 2 or 3 days ago. But then started digging a little bit deeper, and we're going to go through a couple of things in this video. Most of you are probably already aware that Deloitte is, partnered with RippleNet, or at least on the same basis as having, similar interests as Ripple has. They mention Ripple and XRP in quite a few of their documents, and actually, some of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware, but I think it was 2016 where Deloitte showcased integration of RippleNet into Temenos T24 transact. But actually, I found a new document today, which is extremely interesting to me. Just looking at, Deloitte, this is called Blockchain Galaxy. I think this is late 2019 or early 2020. But if you read through this and read about Ripple in particular here, and I'll try to blow this up a little bit for you. I want to go through this problem, or through these couple of paragraphs here, but what's really interesting is the last paragraph. So I'll read through the first couple quickly. Even though the conceptual foundation of the Ripple protocol was laid out in 2004, Jed McCaleb began seeking investments for the company Ripple Labs in 2013. The problem that it meant to solve was that of cross-border interbank transfer of value and assets. The scene was, and still is, dominated by the SWIFT system. And as we know, that is slowly starting to move away from SWIFT. I think that it's taken a little bit longer than what a lot of us thought. That dates back to 1973. Ripple addresses this problem of transfer of value by letting financial actors build a network of credit lines that somehow resemble the payment channel of Bitcoin Lightning Network. Actors involved in a transaction exchange IOUs. So this is Ripple, the company, that are recorded and accounted in a ledger. Crucially, the ledger is currency agnostic. It doesn't care. In that IOUs can be expressed / valued in any currency that both the counterparties accept. Okay, so this is a lot about Ripple, right? Ripple Ledger is updated using a consensus mechanism peculiarly based on trust relationships. Here is the interesting part for me. Non-native assets, i.e. not XRP, accounted on Ripple enter through gateways. Institutions that accept from users guard them over time and acknowledge to give the asset back in charge for the corresponding digital representation, e.g., an IOU. Here's really what's interesting. Ripple Labs is a for-profit company. We know that. We get it. And provides solutions to financial actors for specific applications needs, such as connectors with SWIFT, payment interfaces for business, tools to manage liquidity, etc. I'm going to read that one more time, because I literally just read this right now while I was going to put together this quick kind of a, hey, I'm going to start making YouTube videos again. But I saw this one sentence and it really kind of stuck out to me. Ripple Labs is a for-profit company and provides solutions to financial actors for specific applications needs, such as connectors with SWIFT. So if I read that correctly, and I'm not saying that Ripple and SWIFT are partners, but Ripple is providing connection gateways with SWIFT from what I'm seeing in this, which is extremely interesting because, I thought that SWIFT was completely independent and extremely efficient as far as GPI, and they're basically that. If you are not aware, GPI is basically X current. You have prior agreements, the messaging is pre-validated, all that stuff. But it looks to me like Ripple is providing Ripple Labs' clients. They are providing connectors with SWIFT. That is extremely interesting. I wonder why they would be willing to do that. Obviously to make money, but that kind of goes against the use case of what we're all in here for. So I kind of have the same opinion of all of this. I think that SWIFT knows that the jig's up for certain corridors and for certain situations. So I guess Ripple Labs provides connectors with Swift. I'm going to move forward here just to provide a little bit of background for you guys. And again, my first video in probably 4 or 5 months here. I plan on doing more, maybe hopefully a video a day, depending on if the content's okay. Planning on doing some videos that are dealing with some other digital assets as well, doing some more deep dives. So press release from Deloitte, just in case you aren't aware, Deloitte showcases integration of Ripple technology into Temenos T24, allowing real-time international payments. And I also believe that during this showcase that Bluezell was a part of this proof of concept. But we will see later, I hope it's in here somewhere, where Temenos Transact actually, mentions that they're basically Ripple enabled since 2016. What is Temenos Transact, which is what Ripple was enabled with? Core banking software. T24 is now Temenos Transact. So there was a switch over. They rebranded, apparently. The world's best-selling, most functionally rich core banking product used by over 1,000 banks in all sectors and geographies. Why Temenos Transact? The world's favorite core banking package, 25 years. Core banking system, all sizes use the same software to provide out outstanding products. The next gen in core banking allows banks to take advantage of agile scalability, secure and lower operational costs to the cloud. We all know that Ripple just went cloud with their services, which allows RippleNet to be deployed in a much quicker time frame. Broadest and deepest functionality in the market. Temenos consistently invests over 20% of its revenue back into R&D or research and development, and I'm sure that some of that went into research into RippleNet. So extremely interesting. Also, Deloitte's 2020 Global Blockchain Survey from Promise to Reality. I read through this briefly. I posted this to Patreon actually a few days ago, so you guys are getting it a few days after the fact here. But this is an extremely insightful document. Let me make sure that I'm actually recording here. Yeah, we're recording. So Deloitte Insights. Deloitte's 2020 Global Blockchain Service from Promise to Reality. And I will give a backdrop on Deloitte also. I'm going to scroll through this. I will link this in the comments or down in the thread of the YouTube video. But, it deals with the evolution of blockchain, a more real reality for blockchain, digital assets today and tomorrow. There are some strikingly, I would say, very important comments made here because Deloitte is not a small player in this space. They are one of the biggest. I mean, we can read real quick here. Deloitte is a multinational professional service network. This is Wikipedia. Don't ever cite Wikipedia, but if I'm getting basic or generic info just on a company itself, I will use Wikipedia because I'm too lazy to go into the About Us section of Deloitte. That's nonsense. We all know Deloitte's big. Deloitte's one of the big 4 accounting organizations and the largest professional services network in the world by revenue and number of professionals, with headquarters in London in the UK. 46.2 billion in revenue in 2019. So I can delete that now by Wikipedia. So this is a very, very interesting document. Again, I will link this, but this will kind of paint a nice picture as to where we are now and where we're going. And where we're going is absolutely enormous. I mean, I'm of the opinion 100% that blockchain is going to swallow, probably 60 to 70% within the next 4 to 6 years of the entire legacy system, everything. And then, in 6 to 10 years, I believe, you will see tokenization go from these small little use cases. And I don't think that real estate and all this is small little use cases, but I'm saying the adoption rate will just be absolutely enormous. I think, by 2030, I think that this whole thing shakes out. And 2030 is a long time to wait, but I don't think we have that long to wait to see valuations that reflect where it's going. Now, what was really interesting is they surveyed tons of organizations that are within their network, and we saw how big their network is. So I'm going to briefly skim through a couple of these, and we'll make this video probably, hopefully, not too long. But blockchain standing as a top 5 strategic priority continued in 2020 with a clear majority of respondents. Which of the following best describes how you currently view the relevance of blockchain to your organization or project in the coming 24 months? And this is 2020 here. It looks like, and I am colorblind, by the way, but I believe that this is 55% now. So 55% of organizations, it's a top 5 strategic priority. Keep scrolling down. Really, what I'm getting to at the end of this thing is digital assets, because we all know that there is this rhetoric out there where there is a separation between blockchain, DLT, and digital assets, but that is a nonsense rhetoric that's being spread. It's like a car driving without gasoline, or an electric car driving without a plug in your house. What is your level of agreement or disagreement with each of the following statements regarding blockchain technology? Blockchain technology is broadly scalable and will eventually achieve mainstream adoption. Fantastic. I don't need to go through this whole thing. I want to get down to the digital assets part, and then I'm going to continue on here. This actually, digital assets as an alternative or to a replacement for fiat currencies by country. China, 94%. Brazil, 94%. We know that Brad Garlinghouse just had a meeting, obviously a non-public meeting with the Central Bank of Brazil. UAE, which Ripple's big in the UAE as well. Singapore, we know MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and Ripple. Ireland, Israel, keep going. Overall, 83%. Overall, 83% of, and these aren't individuals, of these companies, and it gets down into that later, who they're actually surveying here. Mostly it's CEOs and high upper management at a lot of these huge organizations. 83% believe that fiat is going to be replaced, or at least be offered as an alternative. And we all know that once they take a sip of that friggin' tea, they're going to go with digital assets because they're cheaper. They're going to be more liquid. That the non-liquid, there's so much volatility. Yeah, no shit, there's volatility because we're in a nascent market that is like 9 years old. You know, how long has fiat been around? Forever. How long has fiat not backed been around? I guess I should say, which is a better thing to say, 40, 50 years. We're going to scroll down. Digital identity, and if you're not aware, I believe 100% that we've got digital identity, AI, Internet of Things, biometrics, blockchain, digital assets, all of this stuff. In my personal opinion, I think that it's probably about control, and control from the powers that be. However, they're going to control us anyways, which they are right now. I don't have an issue trying to make a little bit of money off of it. So let me scroll down to the end here, because this was the most interesting one for me. Country comparisons, overall revenues. Where is it at? I missed it, I think. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry about this. Hey, I'm rusty. So there is one on here where it talks about digital currency, and it's really going to piss me off if I can't find it. All right. Okay. Well, this one's interesting too. I can't find that one. Which digital assets are most under consideration? Enterprise controlled. So if you're talking blockchain enterprises, we have Hyperledger, we have R3. You could essentially say Ripple's not really, because Ripple doesn't control XRP, but it is semi-permissioned, obviously, or it's a permissioned basis as far as the node operators are concerned. But enterprise controlled wouldn't necessarily be Ripple, would be Hyperledger, R3. General asset backed or basket of assets, currencies, etc. Decentralized obviously falls a little bit lower on there. But there was one slide where it was basically, how important do you think digital assets will be to your organization over the next however many years? And like 92% of these people said it. Maybe if you guys look through here and you find it, please give me a heads up. So again, Deloitte Digital Case Study, Ignite Innovation. Deloitte showcases integration of Ripple technology into Temenos Retail Suite. T24, which as we now know is Temenos Transact, allowing real-time international payments. And it does deal in with BlueZelle down here. To support the integration, Deloitte, who is a Temenos global partner, linked up with BlueZelle to develop a proof of concept with the goal of sending cross-currency payments between Temenos Retail Suite instances hosted in the cloud, and now RippleNet is cloud, obviously, too, using the Ripple protocol. I will link all these here. Here's what's there. There was some other interesting things here. Actually, yeah. I think this one actually talks about real-time settlement multiple times for Ripple, and this is a Temenos. Yeah. Okay, so I found this too, and this is super interesting. Blockchain technologies like the Ripple protocol, and this goes a little bit deeper. I'm going to end this video in 5 minutes, guys, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Blockchain technologies like the Ripple protocol, again, this is from Temenos here. Enable the creation of the lower cost system that banks need to compete. Because these systems use a distributed ledger approach, banks can utilize real-time settlement. This lowers the administrative and opportunity costs associated with the current correspondent banking system, and as a result, customers can be retained. They're going to die if they do not adapt. They've known that for years now. This was probably put out in like 2017 or something. We could look down in the thread at the end. This lowers the administrative costs and opportunity costs associated with the current corresponding banking system. Customers can be retained. But how ready are banks to make this opportunity a reality? And will Swift's global payment initiative, designed to improve the cross-border payments experience, take the wind out of those sails? We know that a lot of people are using Swift. Swift, for those of you that are not aware, there was an interesting interview by Bob Way. I think it was during the Alex Cobb interview. Where Bob Way, who was at Ripple during this time, basically said that, they were trying to reach out to banks. They were reaching out to all these individuals to try to adopt RippleNet, and they had a meeting. They didn't know who the individuals were with in this meeting. Come to find out, GPI was an initiative announced by Swift, and the meeting that Bob Way had was with Geoffrey Lebrant, the CEO of Swift. So they literally stole Xcurrent, the idea, off of Ripple because they knew that they were about to be completely, eliminated. And now, again, I don't look at Swift as competition. Look, I think that GPI is probably fantastic, at least as an upgrade to the Swift system, because you've got most of the world dealing with Swift. But that's obviously fallen by the wayside because what we've seen over the past year or two is most of the corporations that are in dealing with Swift are also setting up Ripple connectors. Why would you think that is? Do you think that it's because GPI is going to last forever? The Xcurrent that Ripple had years ago? No, it's about settlement. It's always been about settlement. Collaboration of the core here. Let's read through the end of this and then I'm done. Here's interesting too. A good example can be found. This is really interesting, and we never go into these older documents. This is like 3 years ago. A good example can be found within Southeast Asia, where some small banks, which have operations in multiple entities, are already undertaking cross-border RTS, real-time settlement, through the blockchain using the Ripple infrastructure. So they are already using real-time settlement. Granted, if you've got the Nostro and Vostro and everything aligned, just like kind of GPI tries to do, you can settle instantly almost, but that is not ideal. Trust me, if you've got all these exotic corridors that you're dealing with, it is not ideal. So they were already utilizing real-time settlement, not real-time payments, real-time settlement through Ripple a few years ago. And this is all being announced by Temenos, back probably 2017-ish. Rationale is that the cost of running real-time settlement was so much lower than using Swift without its associated costs. You've got the back-end people that are working at Swift, the back-end people that are working at the banks, everybody that's dealing with the logistics of actually getting a friggin' payment through, which takes 5 to 7 days and like a 10% error rate. It was nonsense. So obviously they're going to switch. Back in May this year, Bluezow Networks, a payment platform ledgering the Ripple infrastructure. So the infrastructure of Ripple was built into Bluezow at this point, became available through the Temenos marketplace. There you go. So Bluezow, who utilizes Ripple infrastructure, available through Temenos. So we already know, and I'm just going to tie this off real quick, guys, and I'm really glad to be back doing the YouTube videos. I hope you guys enjoy this, but I suspect that Temenos, I suspect like ACI Worldwide, their up payment service, all of these proof of concepts, I believe personally, like we just saw Volante announce that, yes, we've known that they were a RippleNet. And now just yesterday, thanks Matt on Twitter did a fantastic job, actually got an answer out of Volante. They said, yes, XRP is enabled. I suspect very strongly that most of these proof of concepts that we've seen are going to see similar things come out. They're probably, I don't even know if there'll be a formal announcement. It's almost just like kind of the regulations that we're dealing with right now. Of course, they're going to be frigging enabling it. Like, it's so much superior to what they currently have. And it's not even that. It's not even that it's superior. This Internet of Value and what we're seeing about the quote unquote economic reset, everything that's going on, for all these institutions, it's going to be about choice. And I know, and I've been saying it for a while, if they have multiple choices, they're going to choose the cheapest, the fastest, and the most efficient choice for whatever utility that they want. I just know for a fact I'm freaking glad to be in XRP. I'm not leaving XRP community. I'm going to be researching some other assets here soon, because there is going to be different choices for different use cases that are going to be needed, that are just as efficient, but maybe not from the payment spectrum. So, hey guys, again, thank you. First video of many. I plan on doing this daily, if not every other day, as long as it's not too hypey and as long as I'm just getting some good information across. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Please subscribe and support me on Patreon. If you want to, I will post a link down below. If not, not a big deal. Support me on Twitter. That'd be great. And thanks for watching. All right, later.